Hey friends, quick editor's note for our YouTube viewers. We had a real oopsie capturing the video this week, and as a result, you'll see a number of visual cuts that, we don't love, but keep the audio and video synced throughout the show. We're the City Dads. We're sorry, and we'll try and do better next time.
We're tired of the rambling. So here's the Dads Talk Soccer, where they actually try to talk about the match. Emphasis on try. It's Cory Smith, Ryan Ballard, and Brent Callahan. It's City Dads. Let's pretend they know ball.
Do you remember week 3, first loss in the season? And we thought it would be a funny bit if we just started the episode of just quiet, like ruminating and sad. And here we are.
How awful they were?
Like 7 losses and into the season now. It seems like an ancient memory that we thought it would be funny to ham up the fact that we lost a game.
Yeah, you can't let those jabronis ruin your life anymore. You know?
Yeah. So did you take anything fun out of the game this week?
Which one?
Daddy's Day.
Two since we recorded.
Can we talk Daddy's Day?
Well, let's start with the game recap, and then we'll talk. I think we got a bunch to talk about with Daddy's Day. So hold on. Control your toddler emotions, and let's talk about the game recap for 2 minutes.
Well, there's 2 games to recap.
Yeah, which recap were you?
Do you want to talk about Omaha?
Literally, as we're walking to the game, Corey's like,
So
I don't have my phone.
She pulls up in the middle of Market Street. We all jump out, and I'm guessing in that transition, I thought I slipped it into my pocket, and I think I missed. And it is in the middle of Market Street, and I assume it was either instantly run over or someone made it out in the middle and
just
got themselves
blipped off of Find My iPhone.
I guess.
Okay.
But it's tough. It's gone.
Ones. Okay. But you rallied after that, I assume.
Yeah.
The tickets for the City game were on the phone.
Tickets were on the phone.
That was fun.
Okay.
And then we had to be sober enough by the time we got to the game to explain that to them.
I'm picking up a trend with you trying to get onto games with digital tickets.
Yeah.
That was an issue in San Diego too, right?
It was a big issue. Not so much at the City game because
there was 18 of us were there. There's only 18. San Diego was dealing with too many people, too much was happening.
Yeah.
That City game, it was the opposite. The City game was the opposite of the golf cart lady at the beginning of the day. They were overly prepared for...
Yes. Okay.
There was 3 different people who wanted to help.
They were prepared for Daddy's Day. They knew that there were going to be throngs of degenerates wandering in.
No, quite the opposite. It was really, really sad and pitiful on the inside of Energizer Park.
Yeah.
We had great seats.
We had great seats. So they sold general admission, and they only opened up basically half of the stadium because they
half of the lower part of the stadium.
Half of the lower part of the stadium because they did so poorly with ticket sales, I guess.
Okay.
Which is crazy because last year, if you followed any of this, there was this huge boycott and riot because they didn't allow most of the MLS teams to participate in this Open Cup, which is one of the long-standing tournaments.
Sure.
So all these teams bitch and moan, do these walkouts, all the supporter sections throw fits, all to get CONCACAF or whoever, the U.S. Federation, I guess, to start putting MLS teams back in it. We get put back in it, and I know it's a Wednesday night with and we're playing
storms moving through right that night too.
Rain, which we didn't get hit by anything. It was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful
all day.
Nice.
God's a fan of Daddy's Day.
He's the ultimate daddy.
Yeah,
he's the original daddy.
The holy daddy. He's there's a handful. 5,000 to 7,000 people in there.
The game was as depressing as that. It just felt. I was feeling great by the time we got to the game.
Yes, and yes, we're all doing good. We hit the 70. We're at cruise control. I think we all did great. Ourselves.
So you made it to Energizer Park then. Intimate, we'll call it an intimate setting. As many soccer players as there were fans.
Ticket services was great.
It was a win though. We got a win. Was there anything you pulled away that you felt good about as a spectator?
Yeah, I did. Joey Zielinski played great. Joey, our one of our MLS
real player. Okay.
On our team.
Nice.
Got the call at right wing back. I think it was his first start. I think it was his first minutes on the field. I think that was his first game.
Okay.
And scores a goal, scores a volley.
Nice.
I thought in that game that Jean De Silva looked great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Where did he play in that game?
he was drifting wide. It looked wide.
Oh, okay.
Forward.
Interesting. Interesting how he
Even
looked
Celio, I
good
think,
on
were
Wednesday.
But and Klaus scores, which I thought big. The big takeaway was obviously a lot of starters, a lot of people already with less tread on the tire than they probably should. 10 games into the season, seeing minutes. I mean, Betcher played a lot of that game.
I'm sure it's some of that has to be injuries, I guess, right? Like some of that is because we are so banged up that I guess we're thin, maybe. I don't know.
But
But you could call up a bunch of.
I mean, you could point to any. They could have played Caden Glover. The game didn't matter.
Right.
The game it's single elimination, and if you lose, you're out of the U.S. Open Cup. But it's
friendly. Doesn't matter.
Like outside of pride and maybe some kind of rooting interest for your fan base. This season, there's no other reason to be playing the U.S. Open Cup, and you're like every fan would rather take 9th place in MLS standings over a semifinal U.S. Open Cup.
Okay.
I want to make the playoffs. I want to try and win the whole damn thing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So now
you played and you went
starters,
for it, and I mean, at the 80th minute, we could have been tied if they hit that sitter.
I thought we should have been losing it halftime.
Yeah, it was
they,
not.
They had the best chance of the first half, really. We didn't dominate at all. We didn't. If it was putting the starters out there to try and build some confidence, and it did not work. If anything, they looked more lost, and everyone's going like it's 0-0 at halftime against the USL team.
Yeah, you didn't jumpstart Klaus with a goal. He didn't look significantly better.
Well, he didn't
Sunday
start
as a result.
He was off the bench. Betcher started.
He pulled a goal for Omaha, right? And then Sunday played again. Couldn't find the back of the net. So it's not like
Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, it's going, and that leads into Saturday. It's just they're just not good. They're just not a good team, and I don't think it's a talent problem.
So
I just don't think it's so frustrating to go. I don't know shit, and I'm questioning every decision.
Well, we jump into Saturday, and that's another loss, which is tough. That's frustrating. I heard you guys last week. You talked a lot about the injuries. They mentioned maybe getting our keeper back next week. What's the run like? At what point do you look at a point in the calendar and you're like, hey, 2 more weeks, and we should have a significant number of our squad healthy again, and maybe we turn it around?
I mean, Kessler's another 6 weeks, something like that.
But this goes back to the point that we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was. The players. Your team looks significantly different with Totland, with Kessler, defenders, with Leuven, who didn't play, was on the bench, but I don't think is injured. With Durkin, there's significant pieces. Like you're missing, I don't know, 5 to 7 starters.
Yeah, but your defense isn't the problem. Yeah,
but those.
Yeah, your defense is. I mean, that's my issue. There's nothing on this team you can point to and be like, that's great. There's nothing on the team that you go like, that's doing well.
What I'm saying is getting Henry Kessler back is great because you're going to slot Henry Kessler in for Josh Yaro, and that's a massive improvement with ball play and technical ability and general defending and aerial ability. But he doesn't score goals.
Sure.
So who gives a shit? The problem is not. This is the whole thing, guys. I don't think they're a good defensive team. I think they're organized, and they're putting all their eggs in that basket. You play 5 back and don't try to possess the ball. Yeah, you're not going to give up a lot of goals. You're not going to score anything. When that team goes to 4 back, you saw it when they went down Saturday. When they went down Saturday, they immediately went to the 4 back, and they were so exposed, and they give up a second goal right away, and then the game's over.
So help me understand. When I was watching Saturday, the first half looked more exciting. It looked like we were attempting to score goals. We were spending more time on the offensive side, right? Is that my imagination, or what was different?
You're all right.
I thought Ballard being in the middle was a big part of that.
Go ahead and answer.
Sorry.
Go ahead and take 30 seconds.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. I forgive you.
You want to try it again?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For me,
Ballard was fucking.
What sucks is he's right.
Ryan, tell me more about Ballard. I've heard great things about Ballard. It seemed like he was really in the middle, maybe.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the biggest thing, and I hope I said something in before the game started. No, I didn't say because I couldn't figure out what that formation was.
I didn't.
I once again thought Kyle Hebert was playing right back, and I think I voiced my frustration to you guys with that we once again, like, we're on we haven't won in 8 games, something insane, and no adjustments. Just the same damn people.
It'll work this time.
4 center backs.
It'll work this time.
Put them out there.
But in the game, when the game starts, I see Watts at right back, Jans Horn at left wing back.
Okay.
And so Hebert, Yarrow in the middle with Baumgartel center back. Great. That's what it should look like. That is a conventional 5-back with the players on my roster with the injuries that we have. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
And then to build on that, you get Valen in the middle, which we've been like, he's been our best player. This guy needs to have the ball more. Things need to go through him, and you get complimentary piece Thomas Ostrak, who I love Thomas.
Yeah, I think Ostrak's been good.
Those because the battle now becomes, if you're going to get any kind of significant offense, you got to go. If you're going to keep 5 back, it's got to be, you got to sacrifice midfield. So they're really trying to make this more of a 5-2-3, and you've got Hartel almost playing like an advanced forward position, trying to balance this with Toyshirt and Klaus. So, but most teams are playing 3 in the middle.
Okay.
So you're already a man down there, and you got to cover way more ground. You got to be great in transition, and those two, Valen and Ostrak, were box to box all night, working hard. It was great. I think, unfortunately, when Ostrak, who's gas, he had to come off the field. Mm-hmm. The guy was toast. But when that happens, you don't really have another burner like that. So they try and move Valen back to the Ostrak kind of role where you're playing a little more defense, and Jean Silva comes in. And I understand the idea, but boy, that guy. So then the wheels fall off real quickly because Jean de Silva now has to be playing a little bit of that. You still only have 2 midfielders, right? But now Jean de Silva, he doesn't play defense. It's not. Okay. He's a winger. I think that's where he profiles. He's Celio, but on the other side.
Right. Yeah.
So now you got him in the middle.
Evil Celio. We've covered this. The mustache.
Celio Warrior.
Yeah.
So now you've got him in the middle. Well, he doesn't have the same work rate. He doesn't have the same profile. He doesn't do the same thing. And it's unfortunately on display when he tries a stupid little back heel that if you're standing in the other team's 18-yard box, no one really cares about. But when you're 25 yards away from your own goal and you just hand them the ball in transition, an MLS team is going to score that 99% of the time.
I think the further we get, the more Hartel is my favorite player. Am I crazy for getting excited every time he has the ball?
No, he's the best player on our team,
So can we talk about Toyshirt?
Yeah.
Last year, I think I'm a good conduit for the dumb new fan of soccer, right? I think I'm a good. That's what I think I bring to this.
You represent dumb better than anybody I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is the guy in front of us? What kit is he wearing?
Yeah,
Toyshirt. Why is that? Because he fucking was scoring goals. And you go into this season going like, that guy probably won't win a golden boot, but maybe at some point in the season it might be in that conversation because of how often he was scoring at the end of last year.
And you get him and Klaus together. I was like, he's 15, maybe 20 goals.
Where he was having success at last year with Becher, with Hartel, they were getting wide, were they not? Was that not part of, like, it feels like Toyshirt's taken such a step back under Olaf, and he doesn't look like at all the same caliber of player as he was last year. And that's what's driving us. So as a common fan, I go, well, we were better last year with him scoring goals. And now he doesn't look like he can find the back of the net to save his life. And it drives me nuts. But I also don't know shit about soccer. So I'm like, well, maybe I'm just not seeing something.
No, I think you've identified the issue. But what's the solution is the problem, because I'll tell you what I think was working.
I think it's strategy. I think it's approach. I don't think it's his talent. I don't think he's gotten worse. I think he's not in the same. He's not being put in position to do the thing he's good at.
Yeah, but so you need a tactical change, which is a different formation. Bradley Carnell played a 4-back, like a 4-2-3-1. It's a more traditional. Right. So Teuscher got to line up right underneath the target striker. That's where he was supposed to be, and that's where he wants to be. It's not really where he's supposed to be in this formation. It's where they want him to end up, but that's where they want him running to. They want him running off of Klaus, but he's not supposed to be starting underneath him. So, and I don't know how much that would affect.
But Hartle got wide then, right? Like
Hartle, yes.
Hartle was able to work wider and then that's what all the great service in was Hartle was wider. And then it would just cause great opportunities inside the box.
There's the obvious point to make is that if you have maybe Thomas Totland on your right wing back, just blasting down the sideline every time Teuscher is coming inside and drawing defenders, then Hartel or Valen or whoever's over here can start playing that ball and just missing Teuscher. And the more you can do that, then you start keeping him honest. But you don't. Akil Watts isn't getting forward like that.
Right. Yeah.
And when he does,
he has no shot. Yeah.
Right.
He has no.
So your right wing back is having an effect on your offense. To what extent, I don't know. But yeah, but then when you get 6 and 7 starters back, or these guys, and you plug them back in, well, now you got to give them how many games before they actually figure out how to play with each other? Like it already feels like a lost season.
Yes.
And Saturday kind of amplified that. That again never really felt like, even you had a good first half, you had nothing to show for it, and then
I think it's interesting for this fan base and seeing what we saw on Wednesday, seeing the mass exodus after the second goal on Saturday is. I think a lot of the fan bases like me is like, we're newer into the sport. We enjoy it. We kind of understand it enough, right? But we're learning as we go. By firing Carnell last year, you've set the standard of saying we don't have patience for bad seasons, right? So now this fan base, as we're getting worse this year, as it's at this point, you go, okay, but now none of us have patience to be like, hey, we're learning this out.
You know what I've learned as a new fan? We're down by 2. I can stop watching.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Yeah. It's a wrap.
And there's so many things working against that, but
that's a great point.
Part of it is I've seen nothing to indicate that there's any semblance of an answer.
Right.
And they're not even trying anything new. They don't even have ideas, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Ostrak-Valen worked. Let's check that off. If you want to build on something moving forward, those two need to be in the middle.
Do you feel confident they will be in the middle come Wednesday?
Well, I'm not sure they have any miles left on the tires at this point. Like, maybe Ostrak because he goes 65, but Valen's got to be dog tired.
So that's good. That's a good point, because I was looking at the schedule. We'll talk about what's coming next, right? The look ahead. And I think, I'm going to get this slightly wrong, I think we have 7 games in the next 2 days.
Right.
Who is going to play?
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's jokingly, but like 3 games in the next week and a half. Like, who's going to get out there? No one. Okay, great. No answer. I've stumped them.
Center backs, I assume.
The same guys who are out there now.
Same guys.
But like, that's my point. Like, play Zelensky, play Joyner, play those guys. Like, let them play, because who cares at this point? Let Joyner play fucking right wing back.
You had the best opportunity to play those kids at the U.S. Open Cup, and you didn't. That is not.
So does the cup play? Does that count? Because you were explaining to me, I don't think it made the show, but you were explaining to me how, like,
what a shock.
New players, there's a limit on how much they can play, right? Does the cup games, do they count the same way that MLS games do?
I told you new players, there's a limit on how many new
I think what he's referring to, if I'm remembering the conversation correctly, is when we were talking about the academy and players coming up.
Yeah.
Short-term contracts.
Short-term. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
thank you. See?
We got it.
The dumb one got us there.
That's a good evolution of like, okay, this is where I'm mainly over here. I understand what he's
He
saying.
interpreted for me.
But I also hear what you're
Yes,
saying.
Yeah. Okay. So they have these like short-term contracts.
Okay. Yeah.
Where you can, you wouldn't be familiar with a hockey two-way contract either.
A two-way.
A two-way contract.
Not in hockey. I'm not familiar with a two-way in hockey per se.
NBA has like 10-day contracts.
10 days. 10
so
days.
you can kind of,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So you can kind of flip between your minor league system and your major league affiliate.
Sure. Yeah.
MLS has something similar. I think you can play 2 games and be on the bench for 4 games. So
Okay.
I haven't been keeping track, but I think that's what Kai's on. And did they? I don't know if they signed him to a first year. Anyway, these kids, some of these younger players that are being brought up from the City 2 squad are maybe only there for show, right? Like you can be on the bench 4 times, you can only play twice. So obviously you're going to be on the bench twice. I mean, we saw it with some guys last year. They played their first 2 games and then they just sat on the bench as warm bodies because that's how bad we were with injuries. We didn't even talk about the fact that there is no patience from the fan base because the last coach we fired is about to win the league.
Yeah, Carnell has Philadelphia off to the greatest start in their team history. And they just won. They won a couple of years ago, right? 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they've had proven success, and they're off to their greatest start.
And they're just
history.
loaded with young talent. They've got the 15-year-old. It's so. I don't know how much. I mean, with seeing that. And what our current coach has done, Lutz has got to, our sporting director's got to feel the heat real bad.
Is that enough soccer talk?
Oh my God, it's so long.
That's it for this week's episode of The Dads Talk Soccer. Not as bad as I expected. Still bad, but like, charmingly bad. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe to the show to get the full episodes where they've been known to lament collared kids, rank their favorite gas stations, play fake trivia, and just be dads. You can probably find a link somewhere nearby if they haven't botched the release schedule. They're the City Dads, they're sorry, and they'll try to do better next time.